Air fryers have really blown up in popularity in the last few years. But do you really need one in your kitchen? Come on, be honest. Do you really need one? In this video, we're gonna talk about the pros and the cons that no one's talking about, and I'll also share with you guys my single biggest regret after owning mine for the last 3 years. Let's dive in. Okay, so the air fryer bug bit me 3 years ago, and I ended up buying the Cosori Air Fryer Max XL. It was a really popular brand, and I liked that it had 5.8 quarts, which gave me plenty of space to cook kind of a mixture of things. And I was pretty impressed with its temperature range of up to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. That was a big selling point for me. I mean, a lot of recipes in the oven, for example, usually calls for around 400 degrees. So features sounded really, really good. And to be quite honest with you guys, the air fryer has been holding up just fine. It works like a charm. It always turns on when I need it to turn on. The temperatures are usually spot on, and it makes pretty delicious food. It all sounds great, right? Well, the machine's not perfect, and air frying in general has kind of been hyped over the last couple of years. We'll talk about that in a second, but overall, yes, the machine works really, really well, and I highly recommend it. I'll put an Amazon link below so you guys could buy the same machine that I have if you're interested. And actually, it's a pretty good price, and usually during the holidays, you can get at a really competitive price of like 80 bucks or 90 bucks or whatever. So in this video, I'm not gonna be doing a specific review on this air fryer. I think it's a great air fryer, and the reviews on Amazon are really, really accurate. I can attest to its reliability. I've had it for 3 years. I hardly really clean the inside. I mean, it's pretty gunked up, and it's working like a charm. Now, there are some pros and cons to that machine, the biggest con being it's really hard to clean. The basket and everything, I would never put it in a dishwasher, and just, you know, trying to clean it with all those like little nooks and crannies and the vents especially is a pain in the butt. So with that being said, let's talk about the pros and cons specifically about air frying and why I think it may not be all that cracked up to be, or at least most people are being misled. Okay, one of the biggest pros to air frying, and it's marketed to the extreme, but nonetheless, it's still a pro, air frying is healthier than regular frying. We all know that when you eat something that's deep fried, it's not the best for you. So if you're really health conscious, or you have some medical condition, an air fryer is a great alternative because in theory, you're either gonna be using no oil or very little oil. I mean, at a fraction of what you would normally use deep frying. So yes, air frying is extremely, extremely healthy. And the biggest pro, does air frying completely replace deep frying? Well, no, we'll get to that in a second, but it does mimic it pretty well. And you can get delicious, delicious fried food out of an air fryer. Usually if you don't get that fried taste or that, you know, fried crispy texture, spraying a light coating of your favorite cooking oil or even brushing a little bit of oil on your food and then air frying it is usually enough to get that crispy outer layer. So I think that is the biggest pro to air frying, and obviously all the manufacturers try to sell air fryers leading with that talking point, right? That it's healthier, it's more healthier than deep frying, and it's a great alternative, and I have to agree with them. The next biggest pro to air frying is it's pretty convenient. I mean, you can literally pull this thing out, toss your food in there, you know, do your thing. You might have to shake it a couple times and flip the food around while it's cooking, but for the most part, it's a set it and forget it type of deal. You can walk away from it and go watch something and so forth. I mean, it's not completely bulletproof. It still heavily relies on the user. You have to know which temperatures to set and for how long. You can still burn your food. It's not a sous vide where, you know, if it stays in there forever, you're good to go because it's never exceeding a temperature. No, an air fryer works like an oven or a deep fryer, kind of. Now, one of the biggest hurdles for new owners is not knowing at what temperature and how long you should set the air fryer for certain foods. The particular one that I bought comes with a recipe book and like a manual that's really, really good, and it gives you some pretty good recipes with some set times. What's really cool about my particular one and most air fryers that are released today is that they do have some pre-selected buttons that kind of take care of some of the guesswork for you, where the temperatures and the time durations are already kind of pre-selected for you. So for example, if you want to cook fried chicken, there's usually a fried chicken button or a French fries button, even a vegetable button. And my particular model also has a preheat and a keep warm button, which I really, really liked. Again, it's really convenient to own an air fryer, and that's another big pro. Another big pro, at least for me, is an air fryer typically does not warm up your house as bad as a traditional conventional oven would. And the reason for that is it's not this big giant metal thing that's heating up at 400 degrees and heating up your entire house as well. Now, that's not to say that an air fryer doesn't generate any heat. It does. Your kitchen, or at least that section of your kitchen, will get a little hotter than the rest, but it's a night and day difference. I mean, if you really hate turning on your oven in a hot summer day, then a air fryer is a good alternative. I mean, it still generates heat, but it's not too bad. And because it's small and pretty compact, you can technically set it up for outdoor usage. On a hot summer day, again, hot summer day, no forecast for rain, you can set it on a outdoor table, or even maybe like, you know, the side table on your barbecue grill or whatever. The surface below it never gets hot, so it's really safe and convenient, and again, it won't heat up your house. So that's a big, big deal. And I know that's a big deal for a lot of you out there, because when I was reading the reviews, you know, a lot of people really like that it doesn't heat up their house. And the last pro to air fryers is they're incredibly versatile. You can cook French fries, you can cook breakfast in them, you can cook your meats and your proteins. You can make really crispy salmon, which I'll show you guys later in a nice B-roll. And of course, all that frozen food stuff that you would find on the frozen food aisle of your favorite grocery store can just be dumped right in there, and the air fryer will handle it no problem. Now, one of the biggest questions that I usually get is, how well does an air fryer actually fry chicken? It takes a little bit of finesse, and like I said earlier, you might have to kind of coat your chicken with really light oil, or even spray it with your favorite spray-on cooking oil, and that might be just enough to get that really crispy outer layer. So how well does it fry up chicken? It does really well. It tastes pretty good, but ultimately, at least for me, I do prefer deep fried chicken in the traditional oil, just because the greasiness. I mean, I'll be honest with you, the greasiness, but for the majority of the time, to be health conscious, yes, we do fry up our chicken in the air fryer, and then, like, you know, once every so often, we'll do it the real way with peanut oil and really go crazy, and it's amazing. But yes, an air fryer is incredibly versatile. I've seen people steam vegetables in there, and you know, everything that you kind of throw at it. And like I said, most manufacturers do include a recipe book, and you'll be really surprised what you can do in an air fryer. You can even bake in one. So for example, here's the recipe book that came with my machine. And here's all the things that the air fryer can cook. Pretty impressive, right? For breakfast, there's a recipe in here for French toast sticks, muffin breakfast sandwiches, stuffed French toast, and even a breakfast pizza. Now, I've tried some of these and they're absolutely delicious. You can do a New York steak, Italian meatballs, Mediterranean lamb meatballs, honey lemon chicken, which I really love. And then they include stuff like appetizers. You know, for example, you can do potato skins, fried mozzarella bits, fried pickles. But what really, really shocked me was desserts, right? I mean, when you think an air fryer, you're thinking fried food. Well, you can bake a pie in here. You can make cinnamon rolls. You can make banana bread, an apple pie, a lemon pound cake, blueberry lemon muffins. I mean, literally, you name it, an air fryer can do it. And they even have a section titled Playing with the Presets, where they literally go over how you can fine-tune and tweak those presets to make better food. So yes, an air fryer is incredibly versatile. So all those pros sound really, really good. So what are some of the cons to air frying? Well, I'm gonna tell you, and a lot of people do not mention these cons, especially the manufacturer. But the single biggest con to air frying is you don't always get fried food. And let me explain myself. In theory, oil really helps you deep fry things. It really increases the temperature of the cooking process to get you that really crispy skin on fried chicken or those perfect golden brown hash browns, whatever it may be. Air frying uses air circulation in order to mimic frying of your foods. And it does a really, really good job, but it doesn't always work. The manufacturer will actually suggest certain things for situations where you may have cooked your food and it came out baked more so than fried. And one of the things that they actually suggest is keeping your food kind of moist. There's a lot of times in this recipe book, especially for a healthy alternative, they'll tell you to actually get a spray bottle filled with water and very lightly coat your food with some water. And of course, they also suggest lightly spraying your food with cooking oil in order to get an even better fried experience and better tasting food. And I have to agree with that. You don't get perfectly fried food every time. Every manufacturer out there will advertise an air fryer as the deep frying machine and the only frying machine that you need. It's not true. It's not perfect. It doesn't completely replace deep frying, but it is a worthwhile investment, especially when you consider your health. A lot of people have a hard time frying homemade French fries. I have a friend of mine that always asks me, how does mine come out so well? And I always tell him, hey man, I spray a little coating of oil and I'll shake it around and make sure each fry is lightly coated with oil, and then I air fry it. And they're always like, well, isn't that cheating? It's not. I mean, that's really the only way I can get it to work. Ironically, he'll mention that when he buys store-bought, prepackaged, French fries, it always comes out perfect. Well, yes, and if you look at the manufacturer's videos and advertisements, they always show you those store-bought French fries in their air fryers because those store-bought French fries were pre-cooked. They were pre-cooked in oil and then frozen. So you're just recooking them basically. So when you stick them in your air fryer, there's already oil in there. They've already been fried. There's even some oil that was absorbed in them. And when you fry them up, there you go. They're fried again because they were fried before and they just froze them, right? So don't let the manufacturer fool you. A huge con to air fryers, and I haven't seen a single air fryer that was any better than the other. I think they all have this Achilles heel. They suck at cleanup. For my particular model, you can take out the basket and yeah, they show you a video of someone like dumping the basket in a sink of, water and soap. Okay, sure. But when you have a really sticky mess, or if you have a lot of food that you previously air fried, that food literally gets in between every nook and cranny, between the vents, in the corners, whatever. And it's hard to get to, even with a brush. It's not a huge deal, but it can get annoying. Now, the other part to that is the machine itself. You have to clean the inside of the machine. I mean, if you haven't already, take a peek in there. It's gunked up, and mine's really gunked up. I mean, in the 3 years I had it, I think I cleaned it like 4 times, which is terrible. I know, it's terrible on my part. And it does affect how your food tastes, because eventually, if you do not clean your machine properly, you'll start tasting previous cooks on your current food. And you don't want that. You don't want to be tasting salmon when you're trying to make hash browns, right? I mean, yuck. So that's really hard to clean. When you get in there and you try to clean the inside of the machine and all those little areas that all that gunk travels into, especially on top or over, or in some cases under the coils, I can't tell you how just insanely difficult it is because you can't take down the machine. And if you have a machine like mine that has a circulating fan, that fan gets gunked up and eventually that fan's gonna freeze up because it's just too dirty. So maintenance is a big deal with these machines. And finally, that brings me to my last con. Although the machines are very versatile, they are limited. Technically, they're miniature conventional ovens. That's all they are, right? I mean, they can air fry and they can cook your food like an oven, but they can't do anything else. They're not pressure cookers. They're not gonna be like little portable grilling machines. They're just air fryers, unless you buy the newer machines that have all those features in one, like the Ninjas. And really, it's not a huge con as long as you know that going into it when you do buy one. I'm just mentioning it because a lot of these manufacturers will literally label these machines as a do-it-all machine, when they're not. They're really dedicated air fryers, and that's it. The do-it-all machines are $300-400, and they're usually made by companies like Ninja. So if it doesn't say specifically that it's a 4-in-1 machine, like for example, a pressure cooker and so forth, don't pay the ridiculous price. It's just an air fryer, get it at $100 or less, and you should be good to go. My particular machine's an XL, and it holds 5.8 quarts, and that's one of the larger ones. I know now there's like 6.5 quarts, even 7 quarts, but think about that for a second. That's pretty limited. And with an air fryer especially, you want that air circulation. So if you've overfilled your basket, or you're not shaking it as frequently as you should, the food that's on the bottom isn't really getting fried. It's more like it's getting baked. So it can be a problem, and that leads back to it doesn't always fry food perfectly. Usually when I make fried chicken, you know, I have to be very careful. I want to make sure that I'm not stacking the chicken on top of each other. Every chicken needs to be exposed to the circulating air to the fan, right? If I'm making French fries, I try not to fill the whole thing up with French fries. Again, I'm very conscious about that limiting factor, and I'm always moving the French fries around and shaking it to try to get that circulation. So if you consider that, you know, that can be a chore, having to always watch the food and shake it every, 3 minutes or so to make sure you're getting every French fry fried. You know, volume and capacity is another con. Okay, so we primarily use our air fryer as a convenient item, right? If we're gonna make like hash browns or tater tots or French fries, we'll stick it in the air fryer. If we wanna have a healthy alternative to some of our favorite meals like fried chicken, we'll throw it in the air fryer 8 times out of 10, and then those other 2 times we'll really enjoy a cheat meal with the real thing, right? Deep frying it in peanut oil or whatever. But one of our favorite dishes to cook in the air fryer is a beautiful lemon garlic zest salmon. I usually put the salmon directly in the air fryer, and the whole thing comes out really, really crispy. It doesn't take too long to make. The salmon's perfectly cooked, and it's usually very convenient. You can take the salmon out and have dinner ready in minutes. Now, as a side dish, I usually make smashed potatoes or steam some vegetables or so forth. So I shot some B-roll of me making my delicious lemon garlic zest salmon with crispy air-fried smashed potatoes, and I also threw some vegetables in the air fryer to include as a nice healthy side dish. So this entire meal was pretty healthy. I hope you guys enjoy the B-roll, and hopefully this kind of proves to you just how capable an air fryer really is. This video, check out some of my other videos where, for example, I have a whole series on cookware. Cast iron, carbon steel, stainless steel, the pros and cons of each, the basic fundamentals of stainless steel cooking, and I even have some videos where I recommend budget-friendly cookware. For example, a 3-ply stainless steel skillet that absolutely blew me away, and a stainless steel roasting pan that performed really good during the holidays and has really impressed me over the last few years. So if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel and check out some of these videos. Okay, so what are my final thoughts and my single biggest regret buying an air fryer? Honestly, my final thoughts are they are really good machines and they are very versatile and convenient, but I like to file them under convenient more than anything else. Kind of like sous vide. If you haven't already, go check my video on sous vide where I kind of give you guys the pros and cons of sous vide, and just like the air fryer, I kind of file both of them under convenient. They're convenient devices. They do a great job. Both of them do a heck of a job and they're gonna get you amazing food. But I prefer the pot and pan traditional cooking and skillets and really diving in and using my hands to make an amazing meal. With that being said, you're not any less of a cook if you use a sous vide or an air fryer. That's not what I'm trying to say at all. I'm just trying to say that for me, they're a convenient item, right? They're an item that really helps me gain a little bit more time in my day. And I also really rely on it for that healthy alternative. An air fryer really aids in keeping me alive. But yeah, that's where we stand. So what's my single biggest regret? Well, look, I bought this 3 years ago and air fryers were kind of like a new thing. They were getting really hyped up. So I didn't splurge on a really good brand or buy something that was more capable. I settled on the one from Amazon and it's a great device, but my biggest regret is not buying one of those 4-in-1 machines, because now I have an air fryer and a pressure cooker and I wish I would have just combined the two. Also, we are looking at new ovens, and now they make ovens with the air frying capability. That's why I think it's just a miniature oven, right? Now they're including that air frying technology in the larger conventional ovens, right? So I kind of wish I would have bought like a Ninja, for example. So my recommendation to you is, if you're solely buying it for air frying and you really don't care about anything else, and I don't know, maybe you're just gonna use it to make French fries, whatever. Just make sure you're under $100, buy one, and hopefully it keeps you happy. But if you're really into convenience and you're thinking about maybe buying a pressure cooker or a roaster or something, later on, try to get an all-in-one. Try to get like a Ninja or something that's gonna be like a roaster, a air fryer, a pressure cooker, and so forth. And I think that's gonna be a better long-term investment. Because honestly, with ours, we're kind of outgrowing it, and I'm probably just gonna have to get like a Ninja 4-in-1 or something so I can get some of my counter space back. But that's it for me, guys. I hope you found this video informative. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care, everybody. Hey everybody, how'd you guys like that last video? Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified on my next video. And if you can, please share with your family and friends. I would really appreciate it. Here's some more content that I think you guys are really gonna enjoy. Check them out. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care.